Greetings, YouTube. Every year when Black History Month rolls around, there's a lot of discussion of the slave era in America and reparations, and maybe even we touch on systemic racism, and maybe we discuss, maybe we should take down those statues of the traitorous cowards that went to war so that they could continue to buy and sell human beings like livestock. But the other 11 months, of course, we don't tend to talk about it. It's only become quite recent where people have been deciding that, we need to talk about this topic all the time until we finally come to grips with our own actual American history. And that makes a whole lot of white people very uncomfortable. They can kind of tolerate it when it's 1 month a year. But suddenly it's being shoved in their face again and again and again, and they're having an increasingly difficult time in slapping on blinders and putting on hearing protection because it's showing up everywhere. And more folks are being outspoken about it. And some are even being listened to. For example, more people will probably listen to my voice than the voice of a black person. Why? Because I'm a white guy, a really pale white guy. Pale enough that when I am around other white people, occasionally they'll say the quiet things out loud because they think I'm a fellow traveler. Which is when I look them in the eye and I go, really? And then I never speak to them again. It's happened more than once in my life. People just assume because I'm the really white guy that I must also be a racist. It's a trait I've noticed among conservatives, that they are convinced that the way they think is how everyone else really thinks, and that the progressives are just lying. We're just doing it for show. It's all performative. But in our hearts, of course, we're just as racist as they are. We just can't come out and say it because we'll be afraid we'll be canceled. But over this whole thing, the one thing that doesn't ever get brought up is that the slave era, the systemic racism of the past and the present, and the oppression and suppression of people of color in America isn't a problem that can be solved by the colored people of America, because they didn't create it. We did. So while it is a topic and a social structure that in it, unquestionably affects black people and brown people far more than white people, it isn't one they created, and it isn't one they can fix. We have to fix it because we created it. White Europeans are the ones that showed up on this continent and began to spread disease and to steal land and to oppress the people that lived here and import slaves. We are the ones that established white supremacy, genocide, and slavery on this continent. Not Native Americans, not black people, not Hispanic people. We did this. And we have to fix it. So it isn't a black problem. It isn't a problem that should only be discussed during Black History Month. It is a problem that needs to be discussed every single minute of every single day until we fucking fix it. It's incredibly, unbelievably complex. Unpacking it will take the rest of our bloody lives. But if we don't do that, it isn't ever going to go away. That, of course, benefits a whole lot of white people. They would be very happy if we did not discuss it, we did not unpack it, we did not dismantle it, we did not make the changes to the system that we created, because they benefit from it. They always have. And they do not want to give up what they have gained from that vile institution. They are not looking for restitution. They are not looking for justice. They are looking to maintain the system that maintains their power and money and influence. But if enough white people speak up about it, eventually they are not going to be able to escape it. Because if enough of us start voting in the direction that needs to be done, those people won't have the power anymore. They won't have the politicians they can bribe anymore. It is our problem, not the problem of black people. White people made this problem. White people have to fix this problem. White people have to discuss it and continue to discuss it every single day until we dismantle it. While the problem is unbelievably complex, that we must address it is unbelievably simple. If you're not talking about it with other white people, surrounding yourself with other white people who understand this, if you're just quietly mute around the red caps, if you don't let it be known that you're an ally, and you're complicit in it, even if you have never done an overt racist thing in your life, you are helping to maintain the status quo, and that makes you guilty. So, you're going to get on the right side of history, or are you just going to stay very quiet and hope it all blows away? And it's not going to. Change is a-coming, as they say. And we, the white people, are the ones that need to make sure it gets moving faster. We made the problem. We have to fix it. So, I guess, to use one of my favorite quotes, lead, follow, or get out of the way.